Imagine, you're just swimming in the open ocean. The warm sun is beating down right above you, when suddenly, the ground beneath you simply vanishes. Boom, gone. You're suddenly hovering over this spot where the water drops straight down into endless darkness. It sounds exactly like the terrifying premise of some sci-fi movie, right? But what we're looking at today, it is not a myth at all. It's a very, very real place, and it honestly continues to baffle scientists to this day.
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to our explainer on the Great Blue Hole. It's this incredibly eerie, perfectly round anomaly located right off the coast of Belize. Today, we are going to break down the sheer massive scale, the completely bizarre conditions, and the lingering mysteries of this mind-blowing natural phenomenon.
Section 1. A hole in the ocean, the perfectly round anomaly. Now, from high above, the visual contrast is just absolutely jarring. On one hand, you've got these beautiful, bright, shallow turquoise waters of the Belize Barrier Reef, right? And then, cutting directly through all that vibrant blue is this perfectly round, eerie, dark circle. I mean, nature rarely creates flawless geometry quite like this. And that incredibly dark hue, it tells us one thing right off the bat. Whatever is down there is unimaginably deep. It's literally a massive hole right in the floor of the ocean.
Section 2. Plunging past the skyscrapers, a terrifying vertical drop.
120 meters. Just let that number sink in for a second. Below the surface, this thing plunges straight down, meaning it is literally deeper than a towering skyscraper is tall. The scale here is just off the charts. Imagine standing on the roof of, say, a 40-story building and looking straight down at the street. Now imagine that entire vertical drop is completely underwater and you are just floating right above it in the open sea. It's a staggering, sheer cliff face of water just dropping off right into the abyss.
Section 3. Born in the Ice Age, the known origins.
So how does a skyscraper deep hole just magically appear in the middle of the ocean? Well, researchers know for a fact that the Great Blue Hole was originally a limestone cave system. It formed during the last ice age, over 15,000 years ago. Back then, global sea levels were way, way lower, and this massive cavern was actually high and dry. But you know what happens when the ice melts, the oceans rise, and that giant cavern gets completely flooded? Well, you get this. But honestly, that is exactly where the solid known facts start to end.
Section 4. Stepping into an alien world, the bizarre discoveries. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is that the divers brave enough to actually explore these lower depths have found an incredibly unsettling environment. I mean, they encounter these distinct layers of what's called anoxic water, which basically means it possesses almost zero oxygen. These are literal dead zones where absolutely no life can survive. And scattered throughout this pitch-black void, massive stalactites. These are ancient, twisted limestone formations just hanging there in the total dark, left over from when the cave was entirely dry. It's this harsh, unforgiving environment that fundamentally defies everything we expect a thriving ocean ecosystem to look like.
At certain depths, you actually hit this thick layer of hydrogen sulfide. The chemistry changes so drastically that the water itself turns toxic. Down there are no fish. Right in the middle of the teeming, vibrant Caribbean Sea, you cross this invisible threshold into a dark void where absolutely nothing swims.
And, it's not just the absence of life either. There is no water movement at all. No tides pushing and pulling, no gentle ocean currents sweeping past you. It's just this eerie, frozen stillness.
Total dead silence. When you combine those toxic dead zones, the hanging twisted minerals, the total lack of fish, and this absolute void of motion or sound, researchers and divers completely agree on one thing. Being down there feels exactly like stepping onto an entirely different alien world.
Section 5. The unmapped fatal depths. The danger below.
Look, even with all of our amazing modern technology, divers can still only go so deep. The extreme pressure and the constant threat of nitrogen narcosis make the physical toll absolutely massive. Every single extra meter you descend brings fatal new risks, literally pushing human exploration to its absolute breaking point.
And because of those extreme, fatal risks, here is the staggering truth. No one has mapped every single inch of its darkness. Sure, we know the general shape, but the extreme micro-details of the deep silt and sediment down at the absolute bottom, they remain largely untouched by human hands. We simply do not have a complete map of what is truly resting down there in the dark.
Which leaves us standing right on the edge of the unknown. We really have to ask ourselves,
Is the Great Blue Hole just an ordinary, albeit terrifying natural formation left over from the Ice Age? Or, with so much of it still unmapped and untouched by human eyes, is there something big still hidden inside that endless darkness? It's a profound mystery that continues to baffle scientists and explorers alike. So thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time as we dive into the data to uncover even more fascinating mysteries.